Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. It was up to a very rainy and stormy day for a number of us yesterday. Charleston, we had a high of 66, below average. Average high is 74. And with up to potentially above average moisture with our frontal passage, we had a daily record amount of rain. 1.43 inches caught in the gauge in Charleston yesterday. And some severe storm damage. A tree reported down 3 miles away from Fayetteville. Our chance of severe weather is 0 today. Eastern areas, be mindful and find your spot on the map if you have a frost advisory and a freeze warning. This is tonight and Friday morning. And the freeze warning up there, lows as low as 31 degrees listed for tonight. Dry out the door this morning. Still plenty of clouds working through. Northwest breeze dying down second half of the day. While in the afternoon, some scattered rain and a low potential of a general thunderstorm, some light to moderate rainfall accumulation out there in the state here in the short term. Fly Sierra to be forecast. It starts at home. Tampa near 88, 91 Orlando. Some areas of Florida included in a elevated fire danger today. To the north, scattered afternoon rain, low chance of a thunderstorm, highs in the cool mid and upper 50s. And mid to low 30s for overnight lows tonight. In eastern areas, cooling down, highs between 51 to 65 here. Overnight tonight, some frost advisories and freeze warnings. Protect any outdoor plants and vegetation if you need to before you fall asleep. Frosty and freeze conditions out to the east tonight. Highs in the 50s today, lows in the 30s overnight tonight. And down to the south, a low chance of an afternoon shower. Highs in the 50s and 60s. And frost advisories and freeze warnings in eastern areas tonight. For Charleston, I'll watch for some chances of showers passing through at times Friday and Saturday, and then potential rain and storms likely early next week with some rebounding temps. 73 on Monday, 75 on Tuesday.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at Salango Law.
Coming up, MetroNews Talkline this morning, we'll recap a tense day for authorities in Jefferson County. Senator Tom Takubo will talk about his re-election campaign, and Hoppy will stop by as well. This is Talkline on MetroNews. We are underway.
Not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check satellite uplink. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. Welcome into the program. MetroNews Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. Gang's all here. Ethan Collins is running the video stream. No, he's running the audio side of things. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That's the phone number. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line. Ethan Collins runs the audio side of things for our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia. Jake Link handles the video side. If you're watching on the MetroNews TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube as well, you can take the program in there. Tom Takubo joins us, bottom of the hour. Brad McElhinny, Hoppy Kercheval will stop by as well. And we'll talk to Todd Kirby. He is running for election to the state Supreme Court in Division 1. All of that, say good morning. TJ Meadows in Charleston this morning. TJ, good morning.
Good morning, sir. What happened to sunny and 78? It's like 52 degrees down here.
I know the weather. There could be, we got freeze. I wouldn't call them warnings or advisories, cautions out for tonight. If higher elevations, outskirts, could see some freezing in town. I thought we were done with the, fleeced pullovers and jackets for the year. But I was wrong.
Yeah.
Not a
Well,
fan.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be 30 and snowing, I guess. So
Love your optimism, TJ. Love the optimism here this morning. 304 Talk, 304 the text line at 800-765-8255. There were some tense moments yesterday. In fact, during this program, we broke the news that there had been a threat identified at Jefferson County's Wildwood Middle School, and law enforcement were responding. Joining us this morning on MetroNews Talkline is the sheriff of Jefferson County, Tom Hansen. He's joined by several of the other key officers who were involved in yesterday's answer to that threat. Sheriff, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm glad you are with us. So just first of all, kind of take us through a brief timeline of what happened yesterday. Once this threat was identified, how did the Sheriff's Department and law enforcement respond?
Well, at 10:19 yesterday morning, a call was received by Wildwood Middle School here in Jefferson County that an individual was in the parking lot with an AR-15 and had placed explosive devices around the school, the outside of the school. They immediately called Jefferson County Emergency Communication Center, or 911, and members of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office and local jurisdictions responded to the scene. When we arrived, we tactically cleared the parking lots because Wildwood Middle School and Jefferson High School are across the street from each other. So we cleared the parking lot of Wildwood Middle School, making sure there wasn't anybody sitting in the cars with an AR-15, and we also cleared all the cars on the adjacent parking lot across the street from Wildwood Middle School.
did the students remain, Sheriff, inside the building while you did that, I assume?
Yeah, the children are on lockdown. I'm going to turn that over to Lieutenant Ben Williams, who is our school safety coordinator or director, and let him answer any questions about school safety. How about that?
Absolutely. Lieutenant Ben Williams, Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, joining us. So, Lieutenant, is this an example of all of the training and all of the planning for a situation like this actually going into practice and working as it should?
Yes, sir, it was. It's true community collaboration and between the Board of Education, our local agencies, and the Sheriff's Office. We ended up running a reunification drill last Wednesday, and unfortunately, due to yesterday's events, we actually had to put that into practice and use it in real time. And all the training that we have put into this and been working at, was effective yesterday, and we were able to keep our students safe, get them to the reunification site, and reunite them with their families.
Lieutenant, I want to talk about the phone call, and either of you can chime in on this. Is there any significance in the fact that the phone call came directly to the school and didn't come to the 911 center? I know sometimes you see that rather than the school. And also, do we have any early indications on whether the call was made locally or if it came from outside the area even overseas?
There's no rhyme or reason whether the calls come into 911 or come into the school themselves. A lot of times they will go directly to the school. The early investigation says that the phone call did not come from the Jefferson County area. That is from outside. We haven't pinpointed anything else. The FBI is working on that. Yesterday we had a collaborative of agencies, both local police, Hansen, Charlestown, the Sheriff's Office, and we also had, in essence, a collaborative of alphabet soup from the federal government. We had ABC, we had the FBI, we had ATF, we had ICE. Where pretty much any federal agency that was in the area responded.
We are talking to members of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Tom Hansen. We've also got Lieutenant Ben Williams, Lieutenant Rob Selfer, Sergeant Ronald Fletcher are also joining us this morning. Gentlemen, in a situation like this, what is the first priority when responding to this type of a situation?
So for the school side of it, the school goes on lockdown to secure our students. Proactive principal, Miss Jennifer Mawson there, due to the threat of the bombs being to the exterior of the building, she moved her student body that was their classrooms were on the exterior of the building. She moved them to the interior of the building. So a lot of proactive things that educational staff made some adjustments due to this specific threat. For our law enforcement response, our main priority is set up that perimeter, set up a command and communication, and start, assessing the information that we received. And we moved through our parking lots pretty quickly, going car by car to respond to the specific threat that we knew of at that time. Once we secured the exterior to the best of our ability, a few officers made entry into the building to start making contact with staff and to also go through an initial scan of the building to make sure there were no threats within the building.
Talk a bit about, you had just practiced, you noted the week before, I believe it was, for these kinds of incidents. Reflect on that practice, and it's early, but any lessons learned from yesterday that you already think you can implement the next time around? And hopefully there is not a next time around.
Okay. What was amazing was that exercise was at Wildwood Middle School itself, so it was pretty much a good thing. So we knew what was going on and knew what was going on in the school and how the school would handle it. But I'm going to turn that over to Lieutenant Sell, who was the coordinator, one of the coordinators for the exercise that Wednesday.
So another ironic fact is that we were in the middle of a debrief from that exercise when this call came out. So it was an all-hands response to secure the scene, make contact with the school, ensure the safety there, and then for the next steps of plans for a smooth evacuation and reunification with the parents. So the lessons learned from that previous week we're still digesting, but it did feel a little better in the sense that, yep, the school is ready. The grounds are ready for reunification, transportation, buses readily available, and a smooth evacuation and fast evacuation to the site. We want to give a shout out to the parents that followed instructions and were very cooperative and understanding. The reunification itself went very smooth with no incidents. There were some real emotions shared on both sides for this event. So we still have lessons to learn and build upon, but we did feel pretty good about doing this for real.
And talking to members of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Hansen, in a situation like this, communication seems to be the key. So you have this collaboration with school buses, with other emergency departments, with the schools, but also so parents know the information got out quickly that all the students were safe, there were no injuries, and I'm sure at least that little tidbit of information had a lot of parents at least take a slight sigh of relief until they got a good handle of what's going on. But in a situation like this, it seems like the communication is crucial to a smooth operation.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. First Sergeant Fletcher was the command of the at command post who was giving the information out. I was in constant contact with the superintendent of the Board of Education, who was at the scene, and so was his PIO, his personal information officer, who was the one who was putting blasts out to the parents of what was going on. So it was a constant communication from myself and the superintendent to the PIO, who was putting things out so that the parents knew and allayed a lot of their fears.
The opportunity would seem to be here to find a silver lining. Gentlemen, is there an opportunity to share with other sheriff's departments, other school systems in the state of West Virginia, the lessons you learned yesterday, what happened, what worked, what didn't, so that we can try to turn this into something positive and not just a negative?
I will say that, how do I say this? Practice makes perfect. You can't wait to the last minute to do something in an exercise when all of a sudden you don't know what's going to hit you next. If you don't experience it, and you don't practice it, or you don't train real world, you're going to fail. And that's the big thing. You need to train real world. You need to train that this isn't, you can't go with this never going to happen here. You've got to go with the idea that it's possible it could happen here. It might happen here. It's going to happen here because, again, you never know.
Sheriff Tom Hansen with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, also Lieutenant Rob Sell, Lieutenant Ben Williams, First Sergeant Ronald Fletcher. Gentlemen, awesome job yesterday. Luckily, nobody was hurt. There was no actual threat after the response. So good job. Some tense moments, but a big sigh of relief today. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
May I say I want to thank
Sure.
each and every one of the agencies that were involved. Yesterday, we had 6 different bomb dogs from jurisdictions all around the Eastern Panhandle, 1 from Virginia State Police, 2 from the ATF. The Loudoun County sent dogs. Berkeley County sent bomb dogs. We had 6 available to us within a matter of an hour. And the agencies that responded, the federal agencies and the local jurisdictions all responded also, and it made being the sheriff of Jefferson County at this kind of exercise, this incident, much easier.
Sheriff of Jefferson County, Sheriff Tom Hansen. Gentlemen, good job yesterday. Thank you so much for the time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a great day.
You as well. Coming up, Hoppy joins us next.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
I'm Tom Willis, running against Shelley Moore Capito for U.S. Senate. Sarah and I love raising our kids here in West Virginia. You're the best people in the world, and it has been my honor to serve West Virginia for 26 years in the West Virginia National Guard, including flood duties all over our great state, and now in the state Senate. Shelley has abandoned our West Virginia traditional Christian family values, is ranked as one of the top insider traders in the U.S. Senate, and instead of negotiating for West Virginia families, got her son appointed as DA. I'm Tom Willis, and I approve this message because it's time for a change, West Virginia.
Paid for by Tom Willis Victory.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
5, 3.
For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop.
I would imagine a group of you got together and watched the Mountaineers last night. What were your thoughts on that performance?
It was funny, we were sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? And sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another $1,000 on them tomorrow.
Sportsline on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. and they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Coming up next segment, Senator Tom Takubo. State Senator Tom Takubo will join us running for re-election in the 17th District. Primary election is May 12th. Early voting is underway. Hoppy Kercheval takes a look at early voting numbers and who is voting in primary elections and his commentary this morning. He joins us on MetroNews Talkline. Hop, good morning. It's a well-known fact. Primary elections in general, turnout is down. Off-year primary elections, Hop, there are very few, again, considering the number of people who are registered to vote, a very few number going to be deciding these elections. Good morning.
Good morning. And Dave, you said who's going to be voting in the election. Maybe it's more accurate to say who's not going to be voting, because you have a primary in an off year, and that typically has the lowest turnout of any big election. If you're talking about general election, primary election, presidential year, this is a primary in an off year. And the average for the last 4 elections like this one is about 23%. So that's a pretty small turnout. And you start looking at the numbers. West Virginia has about 1.2 million registered voters. There's another 250,000 people who are eligible to vote who have not registered. So you're talking about 1.45 million people. So you have ultimately only about 20% of registered voters and eligible people who are eligible to register deciding not only party nominations, but also the intermediate court judges, state Supreme Court, local judges, and school board members. So in many ways, it's a big election. And as you guys talk about a lot, some of these Republican primaries, whoever wins the primary is going to win the election. So there are many arguments that this is a very big election that will be decided by very few voters.
Simple to ask, complex to answer. Why so low? Are we lazy? Are we disenfranchised? It's rather disappointing.
A couple of reasons. One is that, and there's been some research on this, is that there is a prevailing feeling that, well, this is really for the party loyalists to decide because it's basically nominations. So let the loyalists decide who the nominees are. It's not really any election, even though, again, it is for certain positions. That's one. The second thing is that there's no presidential race, and that usually is a big driver for people to come out and vote. And the third thing is that, people are busy. I happen to be sitting, as most semi-retired folks, in the Walmart parking lot right now. And people are shopping, people are doing things, and so it just sort of happens. And for half dozen reasons, a lot of people just don't vote in these kinds of elections.
Hoppy Kercheval joining us, his commentary over WVMetroNews.com this morning. Hop, a little tight on time, so I want to bring it back to where we started. The who will vote in the primary. Could that have a major impact as we look at these state races specifically, whether it's the Morrissey-backed candidates or the Randy Smith faction of the state Senate or the Tom Takubo faction of the state Senate? The who, is it party loyalist? Donald Trump, not on the ballot. He brought out low propensity voters. The who could have a big determination on which way the state Senate swings in this primary election.
Dave, you're absolutely right. And for candidates, there are two big challenges. One is to be recognized, to have your name out there, and to try to tell your story. And the second is to reach people who are going to vote. Candidates and consultants always talk about turnout being key, and that is especially true in an election like this where not very many people are going to vote. So they have to try to reach voters who are engaged, who are going to vote, try to encourage them, and then try to get people to actually go vote. So turnout is always is always key. And, I know you guys have been talking about this a lot. There have been a ton of mailings to try to reach people. TJ's, I think, might have put a lockbox on his mailbox to try not to get any more mailings. But candidates tried desperately through various media efforts to reach people just to try to get them interested in going to vote either for them or against the other guy, right? Against the other guy. I got to go vote because the other guy is for X. So I need to go vote to make sure that X doesn't get nominated.
You can read Hoppy's commentary this morning over at the website. Go to WVMetroNews.com, and sources have confirmed Hoppy will join us for election night coverage, at least for a little while. I don't know if he'll stick around till midnight, but he'll be here for at least a little while, election night across the Metro News Radio Network. Looking forward to it, Hop.
Yeah, me too. Looking forward to our live continuous election coverage, and you guys will carry the load. I'll just be there and serve pizza to you guys.
Hey, that'll work too. Hop, we always appreciate it, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Tom.
Coming up, we're going to talk to Tom Takubo, the senator from the 17th District, state senator from the 17th District, running for re-election. He'll join us in studio from Charleston coming up on the other side of the news break. Just a reminder, early voting is underway for the May primary. It runs through May 9th. Polls will be open in your particular county where your early voting location is. 9 to 5, except on Sundays through May 9th. And we will have election night coverage across the Metro News Radio Network and at WVMetroNews.com. May 12th, 7 to midnight. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. It was up to a very rainy and stormy day for a number of us yesterday. Charleston, we had a high of 66, below average. Average high is 74. And with up to potentially above average moisture with our frontal passage, we had a daily record amount of rain, 1.43 inches caught in the gauge in Charleston yesterday. And some severe storm damage. A tree reported down 3 miles away from Fayetteville. Our chance of severe weather is 0 today. Eastern areas, be mindful and find your spot on the map if you have a frost advisory and a freeze warning. This is tonight and Friday morning. And the freeze warning up there, lows as low as 31 degrees listed for tonight. Dry out the door this morning. Still plenty of clouds working through. Northwest breeze dying down second half of the day. While in the afternoon, some scattered rain and a low potential of a general thunderstorm, some light to moderate rainfall accumulation out there in the state here in the short term. Fly Sierra to be forecasted starts at home. Tampa near 88, 91 Orlando. Some areas of Florida included in a elevated fire danger today. To the north, scattered afternoon rain, low chance of a thunderstorm, highs in the cool mid and upper 50s. And mid to low 30s for overnight lows tonight. In eastern areas, cooling down, highs between 51 to 65 here. Overnight tonight, some frost advisories and freeze warnings. Protect any outdoor plants and vegetation if you need to before you fall asleep. Frosty and freeze conditions out to the east tonight. Highs in the 50s today, lows in the 30s overnight tonight. And down to the south, a low chance of an afternoon shower. Highs in the 50s and 60s. And frost advisories and freeze warnings in eastern areas tonight. For Charleston, I'll watch for some chances of showers passing through at times Friday and Saturday, and then potential rain and storms likely early next week with some rebounding temps. 73 on Monday, 75 on Tuesday.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at Salango Law.
When you hired me, you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too.
That's
me too.
a great point.
Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for 3 Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
Brad McElhinny will join us top of next hour. We'll get the latest on the Greenbrier Resorts ownership saga, plus an updated filing in the DOJ's lawsuit to get voter roll information here in West Virginia. Brad joining us at 11:06 this morning. Tom Takubo has represented the 17th District in Kanawha County since 2014. The longtime Republican has formerly served as Senate Majority Leader. He's also chaired the Health and Human Resources Committee and Economic Development Committee. He is running for re-election in the State Senate 17th District, and he joins us in the Charleston studios this morning. Tom, good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you stopping by. You've been in the legislature since 2014. Why do you want to go back this year?
Well, we're doing a lot of important stuff. I mean, if you look at what we have achieved over the past 10, 12 years, we set out to push a very conservative agenda. We did all the things that conservatives are supposed to do, and there was a lot of good seeds that grew out of that. You look at Nucor, you look at the investments, you look at the jobs that we were creating. There's more to do, though.
You talk about more to do with economic development, and you mentioned Nucor. Talk to me about the strategy, because that seems to be a huge difference in points of faction, whether it's the Morrissey faction, whether it's your faction. I don't know what else to call it. I guess it's your faction. We'll call it that. But one seems to want to hunt. The other seems to want to just wait and see what happens. Is that fair? And what do you indeed want to do?
Yeah, if you're waiting for things just to happen, it's never going to come to fruition. So when we took over, there was a lot of things that had to set the groundwork. You look at, everybody wants to talk about jobs and economic development, but you look at tort reform, for example. We, as a business climate, was in the judicial hellhole. We had been under legislative rule by a bunch of personal injury attorneys forever, and so when you looked at the business climate of the top 50 states, West Virginia didn't even rank in the top 50. So we had to start working on that and deregulate. We had to get regulations that were stifling business. We had to get rid of that. And then once you start setting the foundation, we started going out and searching. We went all over the world. We went all over the country telling West Virginia's story as to why you should come here, why start a business, why bring your opportunities here. And it worked. That's how we landed Nucor. Nucor is probably one of the largest economic boosts that we're going to have in my adult lifetime. Thousands of jobs, one of the largest steel manufacturers. We landed, you look at the old Ripley aluminum Kaiser plant that closed down. We brought in TiMet, hundreds and hundreds of great paying jobs. You look up at Weirton Steel, it was decimated when the steel industry left out of there, and we brought in Form Energy. I mean, those are beautiful plants. That's what the voters ask us to do, but we had to set the foundation, and then we had to go out and attract and bring those people in. And then, what happened within the past couple of years, it just stopped.
Senator Tom Takubo is joining us, running for re-election in the State Senate 17th District. So, Tom, all of that has stopped, or at least has slowed down considerably over the last 2 years. What, from a position in the State Senate, can you do to jumpstart economic development and restart that process that you were just talking about?
Well, it comes with leadership, right? So you've got to go out and aggressively hunt for these things. We tried to set up a new program called Team West Virginia. It was technology, energy, advanced manufacturing is what that stood for. We worked with Governor Kasich on that bill. It was modeled after Jobs Ohio, which has been incredibly successful, over $7 billion of investment in the state of Ohio. Kasich came over here and said, hey, listen, we did a great job, but we could have done better, and let me help you guys do an even better bill. But the powers that be doesn't want that, and it just boggles my mind as to why we want to stymie the growth that we have been so successful in achieving over the past 10 years.
I want to give you a chance to address the campaign materials, mailers. There may not be a candidate in West Virginia who has had more outside money come in against them than you. I mean, you're certainly up there. There have been attacks on you when it comes to boys and girls sports, various other mailers that have gone out. I just want to give you the chance to address those and your side of the story.
Yeah, so, I can't explain why we have seen this gigantic flood of dark money into West Virginia. The two things I can tell you is, number one, that it's not good for West Virginia, and number two, that somebody's looking for return on investment. So, there are millionaires and billionaires and we've never seen this before in West Virginia, that is sending, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now it's millions of dollars being sunk into West Virginia against local candidates. They've never met me. They've never seen what I go out and I do for the community. They've never met my opponent. They've never met Randy Smith. You know who they have met? Patrick Morrissey. That's who they've met. And I don't know what he's promised, but I can tell you it's not good, because if it's good for West Virginia, that's free, right? Every legislator signs up to do good things for West Virginia. We are eager to hit the green button. That doesn't cost anything. So the fact that they've had to go get millions of dollars to bring in against local candidates in these races, and he's looked out and he said, hey, who will raise your hand and sell out your district for a piece of this money from Sugar Maple PAC or from AFP or from Make Liberty Win or from Education Choice? Who will raise your hand and sell out your district? Because these guys are going to be looking for return on investment. I don't know what's coming. I don't know why they're doing that. But it's not good, or you wouldn't have to be paying for it.
Tom Takubo is joining us in the Encova Insurance Studios down in Charleston, running for re-election 17th Senate District. If you are re-elected, you could very well find yourself in a Senate leadership position, Tom. How do you repair those fractures within the party after this primary?
You go back to the fundamentals. You go back to what our intended purpose is. I believe fully that if you do the right thing, if you're doing it for the right purpose, everything works itself out. We got to get back to the fundamentals of doing what's right for West Virginia, and if you keep that focus, the decisions aren't hard. When you're doing them for alternative purposes and you have to lie and you have to twist the truth. I mean, you look at some of the stuff. TJ, you mentioned some of the stuff about the transgender. We all were for banning puberty blockers and banning surgeries to take a boy to a girl and a girl to a boy. We've always been opposed to that. What the concern was, sometimes these medicines have to be used for other things that have nothing to do with transgender. Men, for example, get prostate cancer. They have to be treated with hormone blockers. Women sometimes get breast cancers. They have to be treated with hormone blockers. Kids get things, too, that have nothing to do with transgender. That's what but they take this and they twist it and they lie about it. I've always been against boys and girls sports. You guys did a great job playing my floor speech and explaining that. But they amended the bill to put in NCAA regulation. West Virginia, that's a federal program. West Virginia can't regulate the NCAA. The same reason why 5 Republican governors vetoed that exact same bill. South Dakota, North Dakota, Utah, Indiana, Ohio, their states can't regulate federal programs, just like West Virginia can't regulate federal programs. They turned it into a different bill. I fully supported Riley Gaines when she was here. I met her, talked with her. We fully supported the bill that says you can't have boys and girls sports. You can't have them in their locker rooms. You can't have them in their restaurant. That's common sense. We all supported that. But they take this stuff and they just twist it and they lie about it and they try to deceive people. And it's really just a sick, perverted thing that I've never seen in West Virginia politics.
How does it change? I mean, is there a role in state policy? I mean, First Amendment, they can say what they want. The court has said very clearly that money is speech. What's the way forward on all of this?
You can. It's the voters. That's ultimately the ultimate answer. My son probably, it's very humbling sometimes. He's away in school and he called to get caught up to what's going on. I told him, and he said, Dad, what a testament to your service to the people of West Virginia. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, in 12 years and thousands of votes and all the stuff I've seen you sacrifice and do, they've literally had to go manufacture a couple of lies to go against you because they can't say anything else negative about you. You've had a stellar record. What a great testament to what you've done. And, humbling moment for me, but that's...
Talking to Tom Takubo, he's running for re-election in the state Senate 17th District. Tom, when it comes to taxes, Governor Morrissey asked for a 10% income tax reduction this year. He put 5% in the budget, asked the legislature to find another 5%. Legislature ultimately agreed to an additional 5%. You were in the legislature in 2021 when the bill was passed that set in motion the phase-out of the state income tax through economic triggers. Long wind-up for this question. Have we deviated too far from those triggers with the 2 additional tax cuts that have been passed since then?
Yeah, I'm all for tax cuts, but they have to be responsible, right? So the way you get to tax cuts is you have to grow your economy and you have to control your spending. It's very ironic to me that a lot of these folks will say, hey, we're far, we're the far right, we're the true conservatives, but they don't control spending. When you look at the budget that was proposed, there were supposed to be all these deep dives that was promised to us last year at the State of the State, that they were going to go in and they find all these cuts, and instead they come back and they say, well, we're just going to do a lazy 2% cut across the board. And then they overspent the budget, but then they still want the tax cuts. You can't have all the above. And so you can get to this stuff. We did things in a thoughtful manner. We controlled spending. We did things to grow our economy. We put in triggers so that if those things were successful, then we could cut taxes back and give that back to the people of West Virginia. But all of that has to be balanced also with the needs of the state. You got areas in McDowell and Wyoming that people are drinking muddy water. I mean, there's other needs that, tax is a dirty word, but they're also necessary to run government. So there has to be that realistic balance. And what my concern is right now, what you're seeing is people really pushing for political points more than doing true governance for the people.
Data centers good for West Virginia or not?
Data centers are promising. They bring in a lot of tax revenue, but they have to be done thoughtfully, and you have to go back to local control. When you're putting in something the size of these data centers, which can be massive, they're also tapping into energy and resources. You have to look at all the above. And so I think they can be done in a conscientious, thoughtful manner that can help the people of West Virginia, while at the same time not destroying the beauty and the things that or damaging water systems, et cetera, from West Virginia. I think it can be successful, but again, it's going to have to require a lot of local input in order to make that work.
Senator Tom Takubo running for re-election, State Senate 17th District in Kanawha County. Tom, final question. Why should voters support you coming up on May 12th?
Well, I would say this. It's funny that my opponent always says that he's the conservative. They try to define that, but we're the most pro-gun under my leadership. We're the most pro-gun. We were the most pro-life with some of the best protections for life of the mother. He always likes to put pictures of Trump on his mailers, but if you look at the Trump endorsees, Senator Shelley Moore Capito is heavily endorsed by Trump. Senator Jim Justice and Congressman Kerry Miller, all heavily endorsed by Trump. They endorse me. So the Trump team is the endorsement for me. So I'm happy to continue representing the people of 17th, and I'll do the very best I can.
Senator Tom Takubo running for re-election in the State Senate 17th District down in Kanawha County. Always appreciate it, Tom. Thanks for stopping by today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Coming up, we'll get to some text, 304-TALK, 304. Also, don't forget, continuing election coverage coming up on May 12th here across the Metro News Radio Network, Metro News TV, and at WVMetroNews.com. Plus, your local results from your local stations along the line as well. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. Back in a moment.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
Everywhere you look, people are supporting Shelley Moore Capito for Senate. President Trump has endorsed her. So has West Virginians for Life. The National Shooting Sports Foundation named her Legislator of the Year. And she's backed by workers, small business owners, and Republicans across the Mountain State. Now it's your turn. Vote early through May 9th or on Election Day, May 12th.
I'm Shelley Moore Capito, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Capito for West Virginia.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare Careers, where passion meets purpose.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? A lot of times it may be both. The Delview Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
The region's largest restoration firm, responding from 5 locations. When disaster strikes your home or business, call Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Coming up second hour, Brad McElhinny will stop by. Also, we'll hear from the attorney representing the John Lucas family, Scott Summers. He joined Metro News Midday yesterday. We'll play you a couple of the comments from him coming up in the second hour of the program. 304 Talk 304. Texter says, all the mailers and commercials have led me to the conclusion that West Virginians are gullible, easily duped, and the GOP knows it. Slap Trump's name on it, and West Virginians will salivate. What a disappointing turn for this state. I completely disagree with that. Completely disagree with that. And by the texter's previous text, you're not voting in the Republican primary anyway, so I don't see why you're all worked up about it. But I think, TJ, the voters are picking up on this, and I'm very curious to see on Election Day, are the voters gullible, like the texter suggests, or are the voters going to rebuff out-of-state interest? You know as well as I do, we don't like – you can live here for 50 years. If you weren't born here, we don't like you. You're not from West Virginia. We don't like being told what to do from the outside. So I am curious to see if that shines through on Election Day, or do voters buy what the out-of-state interests are selling? We'll find out.
It's not about where you live as much as it is about whether or not you have adopted this state's values. And I think people see that, right? That's the distinction. All are welcome. Move here, but adopt our values. And that's the question in this election. I do, and I've wrote about this. I think it's very much a referendum on the governor. And I think Takubo made an excellent point. You want ROI. If you are investing in anything, you want a return on that investment. What's the return? Well, you want an agenda. You want a policy agenda that aligns with what you think. So will West Virginians see that? Yes. Now, here's the problem. Hoppy was talking about this. Not enough people are voting. I'm actually writing about this for tomorrow, going to go a little further than he did. We're lazy. We are lazy. And I take a look at what the Republic looked like and the voting rolls and everything looked like when we first got going in this country versus where it is now. And we have abdicated our role. We moan and complain about Congress all the time on this show, abdicating their role and kicking it to the executive. Well, we have a role to play in the republic as well, and we have largely abdicated it. When 20%, I think, was Hop's number, of those that are registered are showing up, 23%, come on. What do you expect? That's incredibly disheartening to me.
304 Talk 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255, the phone number. A couple of million could go a long way. The Lotto America jackpots start at $2 million and grow until someone takes it home. Drawings happen every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And with 9 ways to win, even the smaller prizes can feel like a big win. Just $1 to play, in-store and online, 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Current jackpot is $23.85 million. Get your chance at manageable millions.
When it's your family, your kids, your home, your parenting time, you want somebody on the Court of Appeals who lives and breathes family law. Even if you don't win your case, you still should feel that you've been heard. I'm Jim Douglas. I'm a family court judge, and I'm asking you to put real family court experience on the Court of Appeals for your future.
Paid for by the Committee for Family Law Experience for ICA. Susan Shepard, Chair.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZLM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZLM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
Boating season is almost here, and there's no better place to start your family's adventure than Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Family owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer and true experts in boats, motors, and repairs. Explore their impressive inventory and score some of the best deals of the season right now. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com and get on the water in style. After all, the weekend's almost here.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Everywhere you look, people are supporting Shelley Moore Capito for Senate. President Trump has endorsed her. So has West Virginians for Life. The National Shooting Sports Foundation named her Legislator of the Year. And she's backed by workers, small business owners, and Republicans across the Mountain State. Now it's your turn. Vote early through May 9th or on Election Day, May 12th.
I'm Shelley Moore Capito, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Capito for West Virginia.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? A lot of times it may be both. The Delview Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Coming up, Brad McElhinny will join us. We'll get the latest on the legal wranglings in the future Greenbrier ownership saga. Also, we'll talk to Todd Kirby running for the state Supreme Court, and we'll hear from the attorney representing the John Lucas family in Kanawha County. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-TALK is the phone number. Those are the two ways you can be part of the program coming up in hour number 2. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios on Metro News. Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. It was up to a very rainy and stormy day for a number of us yesterday. Charleston, we had a high of 66, below average. Average high is 74. And with up to potentially above average moisture with our frontal passage, we had a daily record amount of rain. 1.43 inches caught in the gauge in Charleston yesterday. And some severe storm damage. A tree reported down 3 miles away from Fayetteville. Our chance of severe weather is 0 today. Eastern areas, be mindful and find your spot on the map if you have a frost advisory and a freeze warning. This is tonight and Friday morning. And the freeze warning up there, lows as low as 31 degrees listed for tonight. Dry out the door this morning. Still plenty of clouds working through. Northwest breeze dying down second half of the day. While in the afternoon, some scattered rain and a low potential of a general thunderstorm. Some light to moderate rainfall accumulation out there in the state here in the short term. Fly Sierra forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 88, 91 Orlando. Some areas of Florida included in a elevated fire danger today. To the north, scattered afternoon rain. Low chance of a thunderstorm. Highs in the cool mid and upper 50s for overnight lows tonight. In eastern areas, cooling down. Highs between 51 to 65 here. Overnight tonight, some frost advisories and freeze warnings. Protect any outdoor plants and vegetation if you need to before you fall asleep. Frosty and freeze conditions out to the east tonight. Highs in the 50s today, lows in the 30s overnight tonight. And down to the south, a low chance of an afternoon shower. Highs in the 50s and 60s. And frost advisories and freeze warnings in eastern areas tonight. For Charleston, I'll watch for some chances of showers passing through at times Friday and Saturday. And then potential rain and storms likely early next week with some rebounding temps. 73 on Monday, 75 on Tuesday.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at Salango Law.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of MetroNews Talkline. Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave in Morgantown. TJ is in Charleston. Jake Link handles the video side of things. Ethan Collins is our audio producer. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255 is the phone number. You can text the show, 304-TALK-304. We appreciate you listening in on one of our great radio affiliates across the state. Also, if you're watching on the MetroNews television app, YouTube, Facebook, we appreciate you being part of the show. A little bit later, Todd Kirby, candidate for State Supreme Court, will join us. That'll be bottom of the hour. We'll also hear from Scott Summers. He is the attorney representing the John Lucas family. John Lucas, who was killed when he was hit by a Kanawha County ambulance a couple of weeks ago. At this point, we'll get into that story. We'll hear from him coming up in the next segment. Once again, say good morning, TJ Meadows from our Charleston Encova Insurance Studios. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning, sir.
Brad McElhinny has a story this morning over at WVMetroNews.com as the Greenbrier saga continues. A new court filing from the Justice family attorneys in Greenbrier County Circuit Court. Brad joins us via Zoom. Brad, good morning. Good to talk to you again, buddy.
Good morning. So, this was notable on a few levels. It's a continuation of the ongoing dispute between the Justice family businesses, owners of the Greenbrier, and actual Texas billionaires, TRT Holdings, which owns the Omni Hotel Company, a battle for control of the Greenbrier. Quite serious battle indeed. This was, technically a revised filing for the Justice family complaint in Circuit Court in Greenbrier County. But here, I'm about to outline 2 ways that I think it's important symbolically. One is that this was a press conference led by Steve Ruby, who is regularly counsel for the justices. There have not been many press conferences. Typically, Jim Justice has spoken for himself in his own inimitable way on these matters. But behind the press conference was a Washington, D.C. communications firm, Plus Communications, capital P, capital L, capital U, capital S. Plus Communications, to my knowledge, was last used by the justices, oh boy, a little less than a decade ago when Jim Justice and some of the family business entities faced subpoenas by the U.S. Department of Justice about some of their tax matters. That was pretty serious in itself. And now they are back on board. And to me, that is a sign of just how seriously the justices are taking this threat to their control of the Greenbrier. So a symbol of how seriously they're taking the threat, I think, is one thing that you might not notice. The other issue is that this is their own legal thrust. The justices have filed suit over this entire matter in Greenbrier Circuit Court, and what they filed yesterday was a revised complaint that works on a couple of levels. One is they have kind of a complicated conspiracy claim against TRT Holdings, which we can get into the details of that if you want. But there's also this sort of West Virginia economy argument that they're making, that they worry that TRT, which owns the Omni Hotel chain, which within it has the very nearby Homestead Resort in Hot Springs, Virginia, could combine many of the jobs, and scale back the number of jobs for West Virginians at the Greenbrier and replace them with people working at the Homestead just across the border. And, to me, that is as much legal strategy as it is sort of a West Virginia-based public relations argument that this is not just a threat to justice ownership, but a threat to West Virginia jobs. That is a theme that we talk about all the time. And, to me, that's where those are a couple of sort of symbolic aspects of the argument that unfurled yesterday that people might not notice on first blush.
I think you're onto something. Look, there are some arguments here, especially around debt covenants. They say there are some restrictions. TRT, according to a report in the Dallas Morning News, bought debt back in September of 2024 that had restrictions on it that would have limited their ability to buy that first lien debt. You can read about that and get into it. Here's what I thought was interesting. Ruby was asked about, hey, could we still find a deal? He didn't shut the door, Brad. Your thoughts there?
I think it's still quite possible. I mean, these guys are at each other's throats in two different courtrooms, federal court and Greenbrier County Court. What's going to matter the most is the money. I hope you're sitting down. The money is going to matter the most. And self-interest, and by that, I don't mean it as a bad term. That's often the way it's used, but does each side see something to gain from working out a deal? What would be against it is a lack of self-interest, but also, honestly, hard feelings. The justice complaints against TRT, Steve Ruby's statements about TRT, the interactions between the entities, that all seems to have generated hard feelings, a lack of trust, and I think that's a major thing that might stand in the way of a deal here.
Talking to Brad McElhinny, MetroNews statewide correspondent. TJ, you may have some insight into this, and obviously with Jim Justice, don't let the all shucks country boy persona fool you. He is very smart. He is a ruthless businessman. You may not like the way he does business, but he knows business, right? He's had to have known, and the people around him had to have known or had a hunch that TRT wanted the Greenbrier. There's a reason they're getting involved. There's a reason they want to buy this debt. So they had to see this coming. Is this really more about making certain you get as much value out of whatever deal you're going to get in the end? Because I really don't see how this ends without TRT ending up in control of the Greenbrier, to be honest. But I'm just a lay guy. Is this really just about making certain using every legal avenue you have to get the value you want at the end of the deal? That's my lay take from the outside looking in on this. And number two is trying to win in the court of public opinion for whatever that's worth. But, you've been in on some of this stuff in your life in the corporate world. It seems to me that this is about getting value at the end of the deal.
It's not uncommon at all. to negotiate in the courts and file suits to try to strengthen your position. I've talked to some people close to this. They tell me a deal is still possible, maybe even probable. I think it comes down to you've got the Greenbrier and you hit the nail on the head. What is it worth? Something is only worth what another party is willing to pay you for it. Historic. In his mind, I think he puts it up there. It's like, kind of like the Breakers in Palm Beach or the Broadmoor, one of these, there's a handful of these hotels in America that have the kind of historic standing that the Greenbrier does. He sees value in that. I would too if I were him. And I would say what Omni would rather look at is book value. What is this thing on an EBITDA basis? What's it earning every year? And I'll give you a multiple of that. If they can get close and meet in the middle, I can see how Justice makes this a win because, Brad, he bought it for what, $20 million and some debt from CSX, I think, that he took over. If you can sell this thing for the right price tag and actually net some equity out of this, the narrative becomes, I bought it, I saved it from the clutches of an evil corporate empire who wasn't going to do right by it, I refurbished it, I added a casino, I did all of these things, it's stronger than it was today, and oh, by the way, I sold it for a huge profit. Yes, I'm a great businessman. That's the narrative I see, but I look at the world a different way, admittedly.
Making lemonade. I think that is a plausible scenario. What the justices outline in their legal filings is the possibility that some white knight lender comes in and provides the money to buy out the debt. And so then the white knight would become, who the justices presumably would pay down the debt to, somebody else. That I don't blame them for not ever naming the white knight. You wouldn't, right? You'd keep that quiet. But it does make you wonder, is there such an entity out there that would take on that kind of justice debt with the track record that they have? Makes you wonder. Also, Omni is not the only hospitality company in the United States of America. There are others. And so, that is a third possibility, another way out of this, that there could be some other entity with a greater level of trust and still the ability to meet the financial demands.
He is, I'm just throwing this out there, guys, a sitting U.S. Senator, and that certainly means something. Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny joining us. Brad, also in the courts, Secretary of State Chris Warner is now asking a federal judge to toss out the Department of Justice's lawsuit against the state over voter roll information.
Right. And Chris Warner, the Secretary of State, has verbally and in writing said so. But, this takes it a step further. The U.S. Department of Justice, first under Pam Bondi, now under Todd Blanche, has sued dozens of states, now including West Virginia, for this unredacted voter information. To me, it's yet another heightened step that Chris Warner, using the state's lawyers, is now fighting back in court, asking the judge in West Virginia, Thomas Johnston, to toss out the entire thing, saying it doesn't have standing. That's what's happened in several of these cases across the country. But West Virginia is, let me talk politically here for a second. West Virginia is still an incredibly Trumpy state. This is Trump's Justice Department asking for the voter data, but it is the Republican Secretary of State, Chris Warner, whose entire family is just drenched in West Virginia Republican politics, fighting back against the Trump administration, saying, West Virginia law does not account for this. West Virginia law does not allow me to do it. And representing the Republican Secretary of State are attorneys from the West Virginia Attorney General's office. That's J.B. McCuskey and his crew. Standing by the law, both on the federal level and the West Virginia level, to say you don't have the rights to this. Your reasons are not the real reasons, and judge, please knock it out.
Brad, how quickly do they want this to move relative of the next general, the midterm? I mean, it would seem to me if you don't get this, because he needs a state, right? To your point, somebody's got to take the Trump side in this in order to escalate it. I think we would be the only state in the Fourth Circuit, so you've got these other circuits saying no. It seems like we're on the clock here, and it all may become moot because time's going to run out.
I mean, I think we're on the judge's schedule. This is Thomas Johnston, who is, since we talk this way these days, a George W. Bush appointee. But each side is asking essentially for a cut and dry decision. The U.S. DOJ is saying that the nature of this is such that there shouldn't be discovery, shouldn't be hearings, that the judge should just order it. Just say, turn over the information. The feds have asked for it. Feds are entitled to it. Judge, make them do it. Meanwhile, the Secretary of State's position with West Virginia is, you got no right to this. Just toss the entire thing, which is the way other states have treated it. So, I don't know that it's going to really lag on and on and on, but I think it highly depends on how the judge treats it.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny. Also, Brad reporting this morning that a legal filing this month, West Virginia has taken the lead in a legal filing regarding National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. That's a story that Brad kind of has gotten pushed by the wayside, but what's the latest with that?
Mm-hmm. Well, so you all may recall, we haven't talked about this for a while. It was a hot issue late last year, but the National Guard presence of other states in Washington, D.C. has been challenged in the federal courts, the D.C. Circuit. The judge overseeing the case in the D.C. Circuit issued an injunction against that presence, and now it's been taken to the appeals court. Other states like West Virginia are not direct parties to the case, but like other entities that are involved, West Virginia can send its legal guidance. And the West Virginia Attorney General, in concert with other like-minded states, submitted a brief just this month saying, we think the president is correct here. They contend that crime has gone down in Washington, D.C., and also that the National Guard has contributed in other areas of the well-being of the District of Columbia, such as landscaping and beautification.
MetroNews statewide correspondent Brad McElhinny. Read all of those stories this morning at WVMetroNews.com. And Brad will also be part of our continuing election night coverage coming up May 12th. He'll actually be here in the studio in Morgantown with me and Jeff on election night.
Jim Justice, come on the show and explain the Greenbrier stuff.
Brad McElhinny throwing out the invitation. Thank you, Brad. Always appreciate it, buddy.
Bye.
Coming up, we'll hear from the attorney representing the John Lucas family, Scott Summers. He visited with the friends over on MetroNews Midday yesterday. Play a couple of cuts when we return. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Getting ghosted is never fun, especially by your network. Cyber threats don't announce themselves. They slip in quietly, disrupt operations, and disappear before you know what happened. CityNet's cybersecurity services provide proactive monitoring, threat detection, and expert response, so your business stays connected and protected. Commit to a relationship built on trust and reliability. Learn more at citynet.net today. And remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
Ready to make this boating season unforgettable? Head to Lou Wendell Marine Sales, family owned and operated for over 40 years and West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Lou and his sons are boating experts from sales to service to repairs. And right now, their lot is packed with incredible inventory and some of the best deals of the season. Because they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com today. Boating season is almost here.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Yesterday, the attorney representing the family of John Lucas visited with our friends on MetroNews Midday. Attorney Scott Summers was talking to Dave and Amanda. He sat down to talk about the investigation into John Lucas's death. Of course, the 45-year-old Lucas was killed when he was run over by an ambulance in Kanawha County in the Elkview area. Summers, which the video has been out there. It's out online. I'm sure if you want to see it, you can find it. But Summers says that video showed Lucas picking up something off the ground prior to the incident. He went on to say that the video shows that Lucas was not a threat to the ambulance crew that night.
At no time ever does John Lucas threaten anyone with any sort of weapon. He certainly doesn't chase them. He certainly doesn't attempt to attack them. And in fact, when he was hit and run over, he appeared to have nothing at all in his hand.
Summers went on to say that he has watched the entire 35-minute video and has a lot of questions and believes there were several mistakes made.
We now know exactly what happened. We're never probably going to know why it happened. But there is, there's really misconceptions from beginning to end. The biggest one is John wasn't doing anything threatening to anyone.
Summers also pointed out that the driver of the ambulance, who did not stop until 2 miles after the incident had taken place, says that she was told to stop just once on radio traffic, and that should not have happened.
One thing that we have learned for certain is there were multiple failures by multiple people along this entire trajectory of this case, that if any one of them had not been a failure, John Lucas likely would be alive today.
Summers also questions why the two women in the ambulance crew did what they did.
We have an EMS crew that, for whatever reason, made a choice to run over a man. And then keep going. And once they thought he was under the ambulance, they continued to keep going. And either there was a horrible failure in training or there was a horrible disregard for that training.
And he says the ambulance crew, he does not believe, was really scared.
I don't believe for a second that there was any real fear of John from the occupants of that vehicle. Their words say one thing, their actions say something different.
Summers also went on to say that he appreciated the support that has been shown for the family, but cautioned against misinformation spread on social media about the case. He went on to say to please stop the sensationalization of what's out there, speculating as to what is out there. Please stop quoting secret sources who talk about what's on videos and that some secret source told you. Nobody knows what is on the video except for the prosecutor, the people who were there, the family, and me. If it doesn't come from me or one of us, consider the source, Summers said. You can read that full story at WVMetroNews.com. You can also listen to that entire interview. The MetroNews Midday podcast from yesterday is up at WVMetroNews.com as well. 20-second thoughts, TJ, if you have any.
Yeah, first off, responsible. Right message to create awareness, but not inspire rage or riot. So kudos to Summers. Also, kudos to the Canal prosecutor for showing the video, for working proactively and getting that messaging out there. That shows the right step and gives insight into why she didn't charge that night as a misdemeanor with involuntary manslaughter. There's more here, so there can be more severe charges. Good job by all.
This is Talkline on Metro News. Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all over the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. It was up to a very rainy and stormy day for a number of us yesterday. Charleston, we had a high of 66, below average high 74. And with up to potentially above average moisture with our frontal passage, we had a daily record amount of rain, 1.43 inches caught in the gauge in Charleston yesterday, and some severe storm damage. A tree reported down 3 miles away from Fayetteville. Our chance of severe weather is 0 today. Eastern areas, be mindful and find your spot on the map if you have a frost advisory and a freeze warning. This is tonight and Friday morning. And the freeze warning up there, lows as low as 31 degrees listed for tonight. Dry out the door this morning. Still plenty of clouds working through. Northwest breeze dying down second half of the day. While in the afternoon, some scattered rain and a low potential of a general thunderstorm. Some light to moderate rainfall accumulation out there in the state here in the short term. Fly Sierra forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 88, 91 Orlando. Some areas of Florida included in a elevated fire danger today. To the north, scattered afternoon rain. Low chance of a thunderstorm. Highs in the cool mid and upper 50s and mid to low 30s for overnight lows tonight. In eastern areas, cooling down. Low highs between 51 to 65 here. Overnight tonight, some frost advisories and freeze warnings. Protect any outdoor plants and vegetation if you need to before you fall asleep. Frosty and freeze conditions out to the east tonight. Highs in the 50s today, lows in the 30s overnight tonight. And down to the south, a low chance of an afternoon shower. Highs in the 50s and 60s. And frost advisories and freeze warnings in eastern areas tonight. For Charleston, I'll watch for some chances of showers passing through at times Friday and Saturday. And then potential rain and storms likely early next week with some rebounding temps. 73 on Monday, 75 on Tuesday.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at Salango Law.
When you hired me, you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too.
That's
me too.
a great point.
Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for 3 Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
MetroNews Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. When your connection matters most, CityNet is there. From fiber internet to managed IT and cybersecurity, they keep homes and businesses connected, protected, and running strong. Visit citynet.net to learn more. Remember, CityNet protects, connects, and perfects. 304-TALK, 304, the text line, 800-765-TALK, the phone number. We'll get to some comments coming up. May 12th is the election for court positions, including for the state Supreme Court. Todd Kirby is running for state Supreme Court in Division 1. He is a Raleigh County Circuit Court judge, former delegate, and a Beckley attorney, and he joins us on Metro News Talkline this morning. Judge Kirby, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. Why do you want to sit on the state Supreme Court?
That's a great question. The main reason is I have two beautiful young children. And of course, I love this state, even without taking into consideration my children. But when I take into the fact that these kids are depending on me, not only to support them, but also to try to make this state a better place to live and as great a state as possible, I feel obligated to do everything I can and to use my skill set to help effectuate that change. And my area of expertise has been the law. And of course, now as a circuit court judge, I feel like I have the experience as an assistant prosecutor, as an attorney for respondent parents, for foster kids, as guardian ad litem, my time on the House Judiciary Committee, my conservative credentials and my background. I feel like I'm the right candidate for this state at its time and its history.
The fact that you've served as a legislator before, I'm assuming you would see that as a positive. Some may say it's a negative because you may have to weigh in on laws that you've advocated for in past. Give us your thinking there.
Well, I think that, it's possibly could be looked at as a double-edged sword, but I just reaped the benefits from it, having sat on the Judiciary Committee where you all are probably aware a large variety of bills come through there, anything that even touches on the judicial process or the judiciary as a whole. And so I think that when you're in that room in particular, and you're going through these laws, these statutes, and you're listening to the bill sponsors, you're listening to the experts in each of these fields and the stakeholders, it gives you a much more in-depth analysis and ability to understand the law, not just necessarily the words as you see written in a statute, but also the meaning behind it and why it was passed and how it works in combination with other laws. Now, I know there are some that may look at a legislator going from the legislative branch to the judicial branch as a negative. I guess perhaps they could say, well, you were instrumental in crafting that law, or you were in the House when this bill passed. But I mean, it just gives you more of an experience and an understanding of the laws. And we have a history in West Virginia of electing Supreme Court justices who have been former legislators, including the late Justice Armstead, whose seat I'm seeking to fill. And so I don't think anybody at this stage would argue that the former legislators that we've sent to the bench have not performed well. I mean, there's Chief Justice Wooten, there's Justice Trump. And so there's a long history of West Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals justices having served previously in the legislature.
Todd Kirby joining us. He's running for state Supreme Court in Division 1. A significant portion of the cases that come before the Supreme Court deal with children, deal with the foster care system. How has your experience as an guardian ad litem, how will that experience help you as a state Supreme Court justice?
Wow. I mean, that experience, when I first started practicing law, I didn't realize at the time, but it has really kind of guided and shaped my entire career. Guardians ad litem, of course, can approach their cases differently depending on which attorney is fulfilling that role. But I took that role on very seriously. I looked at those cases as the most important cases that I had. When I would prepare for a case involving a car wreck or a property case, I would get familiar with it. I would learn the exhibits and I would prepare to where I felt comfortable. When it came time for the abuse and neglect cases in particular, and I served as a guardian ad litem for the children all over the state, I would get to the end of preparing and I would start over again until I was intimately familiar, because I knew that if I did not get it right as far as my representation of that child, that this child could end up in a situation that was not in their best interest. And, as I'm sure you guys have heard and read, sometimes these cases can drag out years and years through the appeals process. So I always tried to get it right as a guardian ad litem. The way I approached it, especially as a guardian ad litem in these cases, I would go into these homes, sit with the children, interview them in their homes. I would go to their schools and interview them. And so I tried to leave no stone unturned. And that's exactly what I do as a circuit judge. Of course, the role's a lot different, but I try to get into the details of each child's life, figure out if, what makes them comfortable, what makes them happy, and try to make this process, which is burdensome on these children, as easy for them as possible.
Your Honor, several years back, as you're well aware, the court went through what I would call a rough patch. We even had one justice who went to jail for various happenings. No need to replow that ground. People are aware of it. But given your position as a circuit court judge, given your position as a legislator, and now your interest in the Supreme Court, do you believe there are more measures that the court needs to undertake? Is there more to do here to return integrity to the court? And if so, what would you do?
Well, I don't think you can ever rest on your laurels when it comes to accountability and responsible governing, whether that's in the legislative branch or the judicial branch or the executive branch. So we've done, and I say we, collectively, the state of West Virginia has done a really good job rectifying some of the issues that we saw plague the court over the last, previously, as you discussed. The current justices seem to have taken that role very seriously. Chief Justice Haley Bunn, I know, has emphasized responsible spending and making sure that when the taxpayer dollars are spent, whether that's on treatment courts or whether that's spent on guardian ad litem training, that it benefits the state of West Virginia. Extravagant, luxurious purchases for the comfort and ease of the justices or their staff is a thing of the past, and it should stay that way. I promise the voters of this state and the people of the state at large that if elected, I will make sure that they continue on that path of diligently making sure that every penny is spent to the betterment of the judiciary and to the benefit of the people of West Virginia.
We're talking to Judge Todd Kirby. He's running for state Supreme Court in Division 1. Don't know if you had just heard our last interview with Brad McElhinny, but a sign of the times when we have to talk about federal judges by which president appointed them. Obviously, the insinuation being that there's some sort of ideology there on the bench. For you, how do you separate personal ideology from law and philosophy when trying to rule on cases?
Well, first and foremost, I don't think any judge or justice is a blank slate, right? And so I think that from the very beginning, when I announced I was running, I made it clear that I was a conservative. I'm not a conservative judge. I'm a judge who is a conservative. And what I think that means is that I understand that our rights come from God. They do not come from Charleston or from Washington, D.C. And so as it relates to whether or not partisan politics should play any part in a courtroom, absolutely not. But I do think it's only fair and appropriate that the voters understand, at the very minimum, the general judicial philosophy and worldview of these judges that were elected. And so I've done my part and my best, I should say, to make sure that the voters, whether they agree or disagree with my worldview and whether they agree or disagree with my conservative pedigree, I think it's only fair that they had someone on the ballot that matches their small town values. And that's another driving force for me placing my name on the ballot.
Switching to your judicial viewpoint, in listening to your response there, does that mean you are a literalist of the Constitution? So it is in that text, and if it's not in the text and spelled out, it's not part of your interpretation of law. Would that be a fair characterization?
I think generally that's very fair, but I'd also think you have to use common sense when applying that principle to the law. For instance, freedom of speech when written into the First Amendment by our founders did not anticipate social media, right? It didn't anticipate digital comments. So you can't say, well, they didn't mention a keyboard. They only mentioned in the context of a quill pen. So therefore, it doesn't apply to social media or to digital commentary. So I do think you have to apply context and common sense. But generally speaking, the guiding light and the end-all be-all of every judicial decision should be the Constitution of the United States and that of West Virginia.
Talking to Judge Todd Kirby, running for state Supreme Court in Division 1. Why should voters support you on May 12th?
Voters should support me because I believe that I am the right choice for the state of West Virginia. I've heard all of my opponents, except for one, multiple times on their stump speeches. And I think what sets me apart is the fact that I'm doing this because I feel driven and passionate about helping the state of West Virginia move forward, in particular when it comes to our abuse and neglect system. I've heard some judges, some of the candidates that are running say that they're running because they got bored of watching Price is Right. I've heard one say she's running because she's a biological woman. I've heard another candidate say that they are running because they didn't feel passionate about their job as an attorney. I can promise you that I have never felt like I wasn't passionate about anything I did in my adult life, especially when it comes to what I've done in the courtroom. And so I hope the voters can see that I am bringing experience and passion and energy to the bench. I'm not just asking them to vote for status quo or to continue things as they are. I'm asking them to put somebody in the highest court in the Mountain State that understands their issues and takes them seriously and isn't afraid to confront them head on.
Todd Kirby, currently serving as a circuit judge in Raleigh County, Beckley attorney, and a former state delegate running for State Supreme Court of Appeals in Division 1. Thank you so much for the time this morning. Best of luck to you.
All right. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Coming up, we'll get to some text. 304-TALK. 304 is the text line. Phone calls are always welcome and encouraged. 800-765-TALK. 800-765-8255. The WVU Cancer Institute is transforming cancer care in West Virginia and beyond. The state's top doctors deliver compassionate care and treatment using leading-edge technology and innovative research for patients facing colorectal cancer. From screening and early detection to advanced treatment and survivorship support, we're here for you every step of the way. Call 855-WVU-CARE. Talkline continues from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Everywhere you look, people are supporting Shelley Moore Capito for Senate. President Trump has endorsed her. So has West Virginians for Life. The National Shooting Sports Foundation named her Legislator of the Year. And she's backed by workers, small business owners, and Republicans across the Mountain State. Now it's your turn. Vote early through May 9th or on Election Day, May 12th.
I'm Shelley Moore Capito, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Capito for West Virginia.
Days, evenings, weekends, and holidays. You can't predict when you'll get sick or hurt. But WVU Medicine Urgent Care is prepared to help when you do. Our team treats minor illnesses and injuries and performs services like on-site lab and imaging, vaccinations, and sports physicals. WVU Medicine is ready to assist you and your family when life happens. To find the closest location near you, visit wvumedicine.org/urgent care.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare careers, where passion meets purpose.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? A lot of times it may be both. The Delview Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
TVMetroNews.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Definitely does not feel like boat weather today, but we are probably about a month away. Yeah, exactly. Month away from the unofficial start of summer, so you better hurry and prepare by going to LewWendellMarineSales.com and checking out the inventory and great deals on pontoon and fishing boats. LewWendellMarineSales.com. Lew Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. Texter says at 304 Talk 304, excellent and informative interview with Dr. and Senator Tom Takubo, one of the contributors that helped to fund Nucor battery plant in Weirton and other large projects was the nearly $750 million in ARPA. More of that money should have gone to water, sewage, and other infrastructure projects, says the texter. No doubt ARPA played a part, but TJ, something you have been on, well, since we started doing this show. Those projects did not just happen. Nucor just didn't, drive up to Mason County and say, hey, we want to build a plant here. Form Energy didn't just roll into Weirton and go, boy, there's a big flat slab of ground here. Let's build a plant. West Virginia leaders went out and got them. They hunted, as you like to say. And that's what we were talking to Tom Takubo about. There are two ways. You can be passive, you can be aggressive. One of those turns out results a lot more often than the others, and that's something you've talked a lot about over the last year and a half.
Well, how are you going to hit the ball if you don't swing, David?
Sure.
I mean, it's that simple. And I think that's what it's come down to. You either want to be active, go after business and sell this state, or you want to adopt hey, we'll see what happens approach, and we'll do some site readiness. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to market it. You have to go out and sell. You have to generate a deal, and there has to be a sense of urgency around it. I think it's fair to say there hasn't been.
And you can do, like you said, the site readiness is important. Having the infrastructure in place is important.
Absolutely.
But you got to recruit. You don't get the top quarterback coming to your school by sitting around and waiting for them to come to you. You got to go out and get them. Same thing applies.
Yeah.
304 Talk 304. That's the text line. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. Couple of million could go a long way. The Lotto America jackpots start at $2 million. They grow until someone takes it home. Drawings happen every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and with 9 ways to win, even the smaller prizes can feel like a big win. Just $1 to play, in-store and online, 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. Current jackpot, $23.85 million. Get your chance at manageable millions. Back to wrap it up in a moment.
When it's your family, your kids, your home, your parenting time, you want somebody on the Court of Appeals who lives and breathes family law. Even if you don't win your case, you still should feel that you've been heard. I'm Jim Douglas. I'm a family court judge, and I'm asking you to put real family court experience on the Court of Appeals for your future.
Paid for by the Committee for Family Law Experience for ICA. Susan Shepard, Chair.
In West Virginia, community is everything. It's about showing up for each other. Vin Salango and the team at Salango Law don't just work here, they live here, proudly sponsoring local events and giving back to the neighborhoods they love. So when you're facing a serious injury, trust the local team that's always in your corner. They spent over 25 years fighting for West Virginia families. Salango Law. Get results, not excuses. Visit us at salangolaw.com.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
The rule of law protects our communities. Integrity protects our values. Conservative Justice Gerald Titus spent his career fighting for both. As a prosecutor, Titus took on criminals and traffickers. Now, as a justice, he applies the law as written, fairly and independently. Endorsed by law enforcement, he stands with those who protect and serve. Because when courts uphold the law, criminals are held accountable and communities are safer. For Justice Titus, it's personal.
I'm Justice Gerald Titus. I spent my career upholding the rule of law. I was born here, raised here, and now my wife and I are raising our family in West Virginia. We need judges who are fair and apply the law as written and protect the rights of all our citizens.
Vote to keep conservative Justice Gerald Titus on the West Virginia Supreme Court. Vote early or on May 12th. Paid for by Titus for Supreme Court.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? A lot of times it may be both. The Delview Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com, click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com. Apply today. Hurry. Time is running out. Deadline to apply is May 3rd. Got a question for you, TJ. It's a little bit rhetorical, a little bit out there. Who has appeared on more campaign ads in West Virginia in the last couple of weeks? Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden?
Oh, jeez. I don't even want to know the answer. All I'll say is God help America. Pray for us. We need it. There's another one out this morning.
Y'all can
see,
go
I'm
find
getting
it.
my blood pressure up. Good
I
night.
know. We need to get a TJ blood pressure graphic to use on the show.
Don't fall for it, people. Call it what it is. Stupid. Stupid. It's stupid, and it's dishonest, and it's not becoming of anyone who would sit in the U.S. Senate or Congress, for that matter.
You know what irritates me is baseball's getting a bad name in all this. Talk to you tomorrow. It's Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.